Hey guys, this is Eric from MMOs.com, and we'll do another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending March 7th, 2016. This is episode number 33 of the recap, and I swear this will be the last time we start off with Black Desert Online. The game officially launched this week on March 3rd actually, and is accessible by everybody now. I was playing during the game's Head Start program, and all the servers were overrun back then. Well, with the game's launch, the servers are even more packed, which can make it extremely difficult to hunt in the most XP efficient areas. The cheapest bundle is $29.99 and is available on the game's official site. And seeing the countless players online right now, the game is clearly a success early on, but we'll see how it does as time goes on. Next up, some news regarding AdventureQuest 3D. After an extremely successful Kickstarter campaign, they raised over $300,000. Arctic Entertainment, the company behind AQ3D, announced the game's release schedule. Basically, it'll be launching in October of this year with an open beta starting in July of this year. So it's actually making quick progress. And it's probably because Arctic Entertainment is a real company. They've been developing games for a long time. So when they start a Kickstarter campaign, they can usually push through a real development cycle, whereas a ton of indie games go really slow and sometimes never end up coming out. One of the game's main highlights though is its multi-platform compatibility. You can play on your PC, Mac, iOS, or Android device. And again, open beta begins on July 2016. Up next, some odd news from Fiesta Online. Interesting news, actually. A game ago, the game's publisher in North America and Europe announced that they acquired the global licensing rights from the game's developer, Onzonsoft, for Fiesta, meaning they have full control over the game. Whereas prior, they were relying on the Korean developer to push updates for the game, and they were just publishing it. Now they actually own the rights to the game. So what they're doing is actually hiring their own staff and working on the game on their own. So Game Ago is definitely throwing their weight behind Fiesta. They clearly believe in the title despite its age. So Fiesta Online players should expect a whole slew of updates, with the game's current plans focused on raising the game's level cap from 125 to 140, as well as adding tons of new content. But pretty cool to see Game Ago acquire the rights to the game. Up next, a bit of odd news. Yahoo is entering the world of eSports with Yahoo eSports. Who would have guessed a company like Yahoo, which is pretty irrelevant nowadays, is just jumping into eSports. So they made their own eSports portal, which is esports.yahoo.com. where they cover tons of esports content from League of Legends to CSGO. They're joining other traditional media outlets like ESPN and other sites just jumping to the esports bandwagon, but we'll see how these sites actually do. Honestly, I don't think most gamers are going to go to Yahoo to watch their esports news. They're going to go on Ghosts of Gamers, they're going to go on Twitch and find stuff there. I just don't see Yahoo becoming a big portal for esports, but I guess they might know something I don't. We'll see. Moving right along, a tad bit of information from Livelock from Arc Games. It's Arc Games' latest game. It's a third-person top-down shooter. Mech shooter rather. It looks to be inspired by Warframe because it looks like a PvE cooperative kind of game, with the video in the background showing off one of the game's classes, the Vanguard. And from the gist of it, it looks very much like a Diablo 3 style game, but except with mechs and sci-fi elements. Just very fast-paced cooperative shooter, almost like Warframe but with tons more enemies. But we'll see what it looks like when it actually comes out. No release information on the game just yet. Just this preview video for this class. The game will be launching on multi-platform, including PC, Xbox One, and PS4. And a fun fact for you guys, in case you didn't know, Warframe is partially owned by Perfect World Entertainment, so they bought a piece of the developer, and so I guess they're seeing how much money that game is making, and they want to make another co-op sci-fi-ish game and see how it goes. Up next, it looks like Dragon Nest is changing hands in Europe once again. The game is changing publishers, and it's done this in the past before, and this time it's going to a company called Cherry Credits, which seems to be a more permanent home, because Cherry Credits published the game in Southeast Asia as well, so they'll be publishing it in Europe concurrently. They'll be taking over the service as of March 16th, and players will be required to make a Cherry Credits account to transfer their accounts and all their good stuff. And they'll be getting some exclusive rewards for the transition. And I suspect this transfer has to do with the data loss they had about a month ago, where they lost a lot of player data, but not much should change for actual players. And moving right along, we got some news from Nostralius, which is a WoW private server. First time covering private server news over here. I thought it was worth mentioning because it's actually quite interesting. They're celebrating their first year of service, where they have over 700,000 player accounts made, with 130,000 active accounts, and with 13,000 peak concurrent users, which is actually quite incredible for a private server, plus it's a vanilla server. And what's interesting is, in the video in the background, some guy actually asked Blizzard devs if they would ever consider making a private server for vanilla, and they said no, and they said you guys wouldn't even play it if we made it. And this clearly shows that there is demand for vanilla servers for the game. It's kind of weird that Blizzard didn't roll out their own service. Instead, everyone's playing on a private server because Blizzard didn't make their own. But the game, the private server is doing really well. Up next, Armored Warfare reveals Update 0.14, which will be introducing replays and a new map later this month. So Riot Games, go ahead and listen to us. Please make replays for League. All these other games have it, but you don't. But let's not get off topic too much, as I'll be adding 3 new missions as well as some balance changes with the update. And if you haven't heard of Armored Warfare, it's a tank-based game, but unlike World of Tanks, it's set in a modern setting. Next, some news from Marvel Heroes 2016. They revealed their latest character, Green Goblin, which I believe already launched as of last week. The game has been doing really well on Steam, actually, with over 3,000 current players for quite a while now. And if you haven't heard of Marvel Heroes, it's basically a Diablo-style game, except with Marvel Heroes, and it's superbly, incredibly popular, so it might be worth checking out. I haven't played it yet myself, though. Moving right along, Warframe's first major update of 2016 launches and introduces a brand new Warframe. The update is called Sands of Inaros. And as I said, it does introduce a new Warframe, which is probably the most interesting part, as well as a whole bunch of new PvE missions, balance changes, tweaks, and more. And in case you didn't know, Warframe is immensely popular and actually a really solid game. It averages about over 35,000 players online concurrently since the launch of this update. However, before that, it was still well over 20k at peak time, so the game has been doing superbly well since it originally launched back in 2013. Up next, the Culling hits early access a little bit earlier than expected. It actually already launched, and we did a Sunday Funday video for the game already. It's simply a survival game, a battle royale style game that was popularized by H1Z1, but the game was built from the ground up to be a battle royale game. So in that regard, it has a more clear design direction than those other games, and it launched to quite a bit of success with 10,000 players online, I believe, on the first day of launch. It is not free to play though, and costs $15, but if you did like H1Z1's battle royale game, it's worth checking out. Up next, the game you've all been waiting for, World of Fishing, is launching on Steam sometime in April of 2016. Yes, it is called World of Fishing, and it is a fishing MMO. Though if you're eager to play World of Fishing, you can already play it on the official website. It's just launching on Steam as well to get a bigger audience. The game is not that popular, and they're expecting their Steam launch to hopefully broaden their audience. But I'm not sure how big the market is for a fishing MMO, but we'll see. Next up, Paladins Closed Beta 17 is here. Yes, Closed Beta number 17. Oddly did not launch the game into open beta just yet. They're still working on polishing a lot of things about the game. So I guess they're taking their time, which is good, but it's also taking so long to launch, so people are kind of forgetting about it. But yeah, Closed Beta 17 is here, and it includes the launch of a new champion called Kinessa, which is a sniper champion. As with any update though, there are balance changes as well. They do want to have more champions before release, which makes a lot of sense. We did play quite a bit of Paladins during closed beta earlier, and it's actually a really solid game and it's different, but we'll see how it does when it actually rolls around to release. Up next, a bit of weird news from Games Campus regarding Rumble Fighter. They are shutting down the game's service officially on March 31st. However, the game is not shut down. Instead, Red Fox Games will pick up the service. So oddly, Red Fox Games has been picking up basically all the games Games Campus has been shutting down, including Nine Dragons and RF Online. I mean, this is clearly a poor sign for Games Campus because they're shutting down so many of their games, and really the only game they have that's still consistently been around has been Shot Online, and Shot Online faces competition from Winning Putt now, so I'm not sure how Games Campus is going to fare with all of these shutdowns. But luckily, Rumble Fighter fans don't have to worry, they can continue their game on Red Fox Games. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO news and announcements for the week ending March 7th, 2016. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later guys.